Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host, Tom Howell, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Mayor of St Austell, Julian Young, to discuss his key priorities, including tackling antisocial behaviour, boosting town centre footfall, and supporting local businesses. We check in with Andy Jackson of Biscovey FC as they prepare for a variety show and a range of football tournaments to help celebrate their new clubhouse and to raise vital funds for the club. As well as that, we take a trip to Lostwithiel Community Centre to meet their manager, Kirsty Mitchell, who has led a remarkable transformation over the past 5 years, securing grants, refurbishing spaces, and creating a new dance studio with support from Prince William, no less. If all that wasn't enough, we hear from award-winning children's author Julie Sykes, discussing her writing career, the success of Unicorn Academy, and her work with the St Austell Festival of Children's Literature.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, the role of mayor is an important one, as they represent and lead an area through various initiatives, challenges and celebrations. Councillor Julian Young took on the role of mayor of St Austell last summer, following a mayor-making ceremony at Holy Trinity Church. Since then, he has been working on a number of key priorities, including tackling antisocial behaviour, increasing footfall in the town centre and supporting local businesses. He joined Cheryl Gordon on the Chaos Radio Breakfast Show to reflect on his first few months in office and to share his vision for the months ahead.
NEWSWAVE.
Good morning, Julian. How are you?
Good morning, Cheryl. I'm very well, thank you, albeit a bit cold.
It is a bit nippy out there.
Although it's warm in the studio, so that's lovely.
Oh, I've had it nice and cosy in here since 6 o'clock, I'll have you know, to keep it warm for when you came in. Julian, you've been in office now for several months. How have you found your time as mayor so far? And what would you say are some of the highlights?
I found it an absolutely brilliant experience. Really, really enjoying it. Highlights. Well, there was the Pride event in St Austell, which was absolutely amazing. We organised, my wife and I organised the Fun Day in August, which was really good. We managed to get a lot of people coming into town and enjoying themselves. Christmas light switch on was just astonishing. It's packed, and the Remembrance Sunday event just seems to get bigger and bigger every year, and it just shows what a wonderful town we have. And also, it's been meeting the people who work in the town, and people who work for organisations that support other people and people who give of their time freely. It's just been super, really, really positive.
I think often the sort of negativity is thrown out there about St Austell and the town and things, and I think actually when people look at it, and it's true to form that here at Chaos Radio we have been working alongside lots of community groups within the St Austell area in order to make people aware of what is going on, and I think people underestimate how much great stuff happens in our town.
Oh, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Just here in this building, CM4C and the work that they do. You've got a Cornwall Hub that work with people with learning difficulties. I mean, it is incredible. I've been out to, although it's not quite in the St Austell town area, the Little Harbour Children's Hospice, and it's just amazing. And we have the hospice at Mount Enchcombe as well. The way people give of themselves here, the inclusivity of it all, and sadly so often the negative voices are just so much louder, and yet they are so much fewer, because it's a wonderful town to live in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've lived here all my life, so I'm very passionate about St Austell and making it who is and doing the job that I do. I feel that it makes you even more of a part of the town, which is one of the key things. Talking of key priorities, one of them is that you've been trying to tackle antisocial behaviour. Are you able to tell us a bit about the progress you've made so far and what steps are being taken?
Well, to be fair, before I became mayor, the town council had already been working on this, and with the introduction of security guards, and we were a bit of an outlier as a town within Cornwall to do that, and it has worked so successfully well here that many other towns are now trying to replicate what we have done. We have the CCTV around the town, and the suite in Newquay, which looks after St Austell, is just amazing, and how they're able to see what is going on, track what's happening, and then inform the police if there are any issues. And we will be increasing in more time for the security guards as a town council, alongside the bid, and we're also adding the CCTV coverage to ensure that we've got better coverage, because there are still blind spots. And we're also going to be getting accreditation for our security guards, so that their work in handover to the police in certain situations is made easier. So we're investing there as well.
I think having a presence of people around, like security guards, I feel that that's quite reassuring, knowing that they're not necessarily always looking at security, but they're looking at the welfare of the town.
Oh, absolutely. And they're lovely people. I mean, again, from being mayor, I've got to meet these wonderful people, and they will look after people as well. As it's not just about ASB, it's just making sure that everybody's okay. And so if somebody is having some kind of difficulty, whether it be a health difficulty, they're there to help as well. So yeah, it's super.
Almost like St Austell champions rather than security guards.
Oh,
yeah?
What a fantastic way of putting it. Yes, St Austell champions. I love that, yeah.
So supporting local businesses and increasing footfall in the town centre is another key focus for you. What initiatives have you helped introduce, and what impact have they had?
Well, in the summer we organised the Fun Day, and that was I wouldn't have been able to do that without my lovely wife Jenny, because she's really a go-getter and getting those things organised. We were. I think it surprised people just what an impact it made on the town and the increase of footfall. And it was just an ordinary Thursday in August, and this has pointed out, I think, to the rest of the council how important it is to create these events and to support the bid, because the bid doesn't have the money it used to have to do these things. So as a result, we have a new employee at the town council who will be working at the library, and she will also be supporting the town council staff. But part of her job, her key part of her job, is to organise and help with the organisation of events in the town centre and in the local parks and in around St Austell. She's actually subject to the community committee confirming that we're going to put the funds forward for this. She's organised, the first thing she's organised is an Easter egg hunt in Poltaire Park, but I'm sure that will get confirmed by the community committee. And now I've said that, they're going to have to.
They definitely are. We definitely, as Chaos Radio, need to make our presence known as something like that as well.
Absolutely.
I think Tom Howe might be after chocolate if you ask me. He says he's going to report, but I think he might be after the chocolate. Now, we've already touched on St Austell Pride being a fantastic event last year, celebrating the town's diversity, and it's how important is inclusion in your plans for the town? What work is being done to ensure voices are heard?
Well, it is very, very important. And obviously with the Pride event, and here we are sitting in C on4C's building, and they're very, very inclusive. We've, as mayor, I've gone out and spent time. We went to the Christmas party at Mid Cornwall Hub, which was fabulous. We went to carol events at Harbour Housing, and inclusion is terribly, terribly important. When we were organising the August Fun Day, we visited the cinema, and I come from my real job is in selling assistive listening products, and some of our assistive listening products are in St Austell Cinema, and one of the managers was telling us that he's organising autism-friendly screenings for kids, where they have the lights on and people can move around the cinema if they need to, and those sorts of inclusive things I just think are wonderful, and we should be shouting about them. We should be saying what a wonderful town this is that is so inclusive.
Absolutely, giving everybody the opportunity rather than just being somebody. Everybody is able to have that chance, and it sounds amazing. And I know they do some great stuff at White River Cinema, and also I must admit, when you go and watch a film in there, there's nothing quite like it, is there? Really?
Oh no, a cinema experience is much better than watching it on the telly. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, public perception of St Austell can be quite negative, like I've already said this morning, and seen social media groups like St Austell is a dump, which tells its own story about how people view the area and live and work. How do you sort of plan to change this narrative and promote a more positive image of the town?
Wow, yes, that's difficult. I mean, I think anybody who comes to, say, the Remembrance Sunday event will see the positivity of the town and how we remember those that have fallen for us. It's a super positive event. All towns have ASB, and it's one of those things, I think. But St Austell is not the worst in Cornwall by a long chalk now. The investment we've made in CCTV and security guards have improved matters no end. We do suffer from having quite a small town centre in comparison with some of our neighbours, and I think to a degree that sometimes makes it appear more visible than it actually is. In terms of improving that, as I said before, we have the CCTV with the security guards, and personally, that particular website, I'd want to change that from the name it currently has to St Awesome, because it is St Awesome. It is not what they say it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hope maybe the people, the admins that run it, maybe would like to try and consider that anyway. But we won't get into political about things like that, Julian. It's it's keeping that positiveness about our town. While we're on the subject, you're obviously very passionate about the area, and you can see that. What particularly are your favourite spots, pastimes, and recommendations?
Oh,
it's a good one, that. Isn't it?
That is a good one. Actually, it was. Cast our minds back to the COVID pandemic when we were not allowed to drive anywhere to go for a walk. And I used to do that. I have a dog. I used to drive off to a beach or wherever and take her for a walk. And suddenly I wasn't able to do that. So I had to. And my goodness me, what lovely places to walk in and around the town. Gover Valley was just absolutely super. And walking through the town with my dog and seeing things like the West Bridge and discovering that that's been there for, well, certainly before Henry VIII's time, and it's mentioned by Sir John Leland in his list of all of the things Henry VIII now owned. There's the church, the market house is just beautiful, and we have just outside the church the Mengu Stone, which is as I say, a fascinating part of our history here. The other thing that always pleased me in my walks around St Austell during that time was that the brewery was still working, and so therefore I was able to get my Hicks tribute, Black Square and Menadoo when I went shopping. So that was always good. On those walks, I'd often sit in Cemetery Park and just take in the rays for the few minutes that I had that the government allowed me. And now these walks are now part of my general sort of daily routine, and it's wonderful. As far as restaurants go, I'm not going to single any out because that's going to be not fair if I pick something and then not mention another one. But there are some amazing places here and amazing restaurants that give more than just the service of being a restaurant, where they're terribly supportive and inclusive. There are some fabulous restaurants, fabulous takeaways, and you can take your pick here.
Yeah, I mean, we are very lucky. And it's really hard, Julian, to think back to COVID times now, isn't it? It was really hard. And I mean, I live on my own. So, you know, that isolating factor, but that sun that we had.
Oh, absolutely.
That was just like... That was just like an incredible appearance. It was like surreal, wasn't it? Absolutely.
And I lived on my own at that time. Well, with my dog, but yes.
Yeah. So you can relate to it.
Yes.
Town Council is encouraging more people to stand in the up-and-coming election as councillors. What would you say to someone considering it, and why is it important to have a diverse and engaged council?
Well, personally, I wish I'd stood sooner. Because I have found it absolutely amazing to be able to support and help the town that I live in. It's something that it's very, very important. I should highlight here, despite what certain Facebook pages say, it is not paid. You do not get paid for being a town councillor. Even as mayor, I get nothing. In fact, it probably cost me because the chain has ruined one suit and one jacket. But there you go. It's the price I pay. But as councillors, we have input on planning applications. We decide on discretionary spending regarding the precept. I should mention at this stage that our precept is the lowest in all of the major towns in Cornwall. And the one that is the highest is it's over twice as much as ours. Indeed, it is more than the highest banding in St Austell, which is band H. So you get tremendous value for money from our town council, which is run brilliantly by the officers. They do a fantastic job. And the other things we can do is we support little events. So we at the community committee, there is a way of applying for funds. It's not a lot of money we have. It's £100 here, £100 there, and we were able to support Studio 4. We support Young People Cornwall, it's certainly something that I would recommend that people should stand. It is an amazing privilege to be able to represent the people of St Austell.
And I think also, you know, if you feel that you want changes to happen, then go for it. Give yourself that challenge, and you never know that the things that you might think can improve our local area and make a difference could be the best opportunity, like you've clearly said already. So
absolutely,
I like that thought, Julian. As always, I think we could talk for hours about our great community. It's been a pleasure welcoming you to Chaos this morning. Before you go, can you remind the listeners how they can find out more about the work of the town centre and stay up to date with the local initiatives, please?
Okay, well, first of all, there's the Town Council website. That would be, so that will tell you about when the meetings are happening. So full council, community, the environment, finance and general purposes, and the environment committees. All of these committees and the council meetings, the public are invited along, and they can come and sit and listen. And there is a time in each of these meetings when the public are allowed to ask questions or make statements. And so, if you don't come along and you don't get involved, then we're not going to be able to hear what you're saying. So I'd recommend doing that. We have a Facebook page, we have Instagram page, and I think that we're going to be doing much more in promoting what we're doing with our new employee who I was telling you about. And you can also contact the council on the telephone number 01726 829 859. And just engage positively with the town council to ensure that our town is truly St Awesome.
NEWSWAVE.
Our thanks to Mayor of St Austell Julian Young and to Cheryl Gordon too. You can join Cheryl for the Chaos Breakfast Show every weekday between 7 and 10. Expect daily guests, the latest news and interviews from across our community. Time to hear from our next guest now, and it's over to Biscovey FC, who are gearing up for their second annual 6 and 7-a-side tournaments this June, with events spanning 2 weekends. To kick things off, the club is hosting a variety night to officially open its newly refurbished clubhouse, which will serve as a community hub for events, parties and meetings. The club, run entirely by volunteers, has grown significantly, now supporting around 250 players from ages 4 to adults, with plans to expand even further still. Joining myself to explain more and returning to Chaos Radio was Biscovey FC's Andy Jackson.
NEWSWAVE.
Last year we ran our first 6-a-side tournament, 6 or 7-a-side tournament up at the ground to raise a few quid. Now this year is our second year. We've grown a little bit from last year, following on from the success of last year. But we've also got the clubhouse, which is been redeveloped. We bought a building and basically it was a shell. So we sort of refurbished it to a point where we can have a kitchen in there. We can hold events in there. We can have birthday parties in there, and to raise some funds for the club and make it accessible for the community, So what I was looking at doing was when we have the tournament in June. Then because we run our tournament over 2 weekends in June, what I was looking at doing was to put on a bit of a variety show on the Friday before the first weekend, and basically sort of showcase the club, officially open the clubhouse. So we have a bit of a fun night, get the community involved, and also raise money for the club as well. Try and get some artists in that may be free that night, magicians, or whoever wants to be involved. We're not obviously looking for it to be free because everybody, their time is precious and we expect to pay them, but obviously sort of do us a bit of a deal as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Right, let's talk facts. So, what dates have you got nailed in?
The 7th and 8th of June is the first weekend, where we have the boys' youth tournament. The boys and girls, they're a mixed team. So June the 7th and 8th is the first weekend, and then the 14th is the girls only tournament, and the 15th is the ladies only tournament.
Okay, and on which night were you planning for this, or which day were you planning for this variety sort of performance, or is it spread out across the 2 weekends?
No, what we wanted to do was have one night on the 6th of June. So basically it kicked off our tournament weekends. So that was the whole plan, to have it on June the 6th in the evening for a couple of hours, and hopefully a bit of a variety of acts,
Yeah, that sounds really good. Okay. Have you thought as far as sort of, will it be a ticketed event for people to turn up, obviously with a little donation, or will there be raffles and all that sort of kind of thing?
Yeah, there'll be. We'll have the main raffles up for the tournament. We'll probably just do a ticketed event for the night, but the clubhouse will be open, so we can sell teas, coffees, drinks, etc. So that'll be open on the night, so we can make some money there. But sort of the raffle, probably not on the night. It's asking a little bit too much to get people involved and try and sell tickets and then get prizes and stuff. So it'll just be a ticketed event, really.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to hear as well that you're all volunteers as well. Like you said, you're running. You're spinning a number of different plates, as you said, alongside family life and things like that, and your own sort of work. So you're all volunteers and you're trying to give something back to the community, and it just continues to grow, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, I've been with the club now for just over 18 months, and the size, the way it's grown over that amount of time is nothing short of astounding, really. You know, there's certain people that, you know, you've got the chairman, Lee Baker, Lucy, the secretary, Becca, the treasurer. I mean, they all put their time in, and we're always up there every weekend. We spend hours up at the club trying to make sure that the kids play, and it's a community thing, you know.
How many people in the community are you providing footballing opportunities to play now, and sort of well-being opportunities? Because it's great playing football and things like that, but also the things that the kids probably aren't thinking about, and about being in fresh air and kind of being with their friends and things like that. How many sort of members, I suppose, it would be?
We must be around about without having counted, we must be around about the 250 mark, and growing all the time. So we're looking at having more teams next year, which will encourage more kids. We're looking to start the 7 and 8 year olds coming through. We've got the ballers, which we do on a Saturday morning, which is the 4 to 6 year olds. We're looking to grow that. So they're right the way from 4 year up, right the way through to adult open age. We're catering for. So. It's going to take time. You know, we have limited space at Biscovey, but we're in the process at the moment of making another pitch behind our main pitch, which will give us even more access to more teams and more players, like, you know.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's great to see your vision sort of come to a bit of fruition. I know you touched upon it a little bit earlier on, but I just wonder if we could get across to people what it would mean to have this clubhouse built and these facilities built for the community and for the club itself.
Yeah, it's quite important. It's a lifeline really for the club, to be honest. It's because that's the main generation of fundraising throughout the season. But also we like to offer somewhere to go for the community to have meetings, for the community to have their birthday parties. We're aiming to have like football theme parties where, you know, you have a certain amount of time with playing football, then you come in and have your food, and then there's a disco afterwards. So we're trying to generate the girls and the boys of all ages to come in, have their birthday parties, but also the adults to come in and have their meetings or a bingo night, or just a social gathering that they can come in and have, you know, somewhere where they can have a cup of tea, cup of coffee and have their meetings, you know. So we're opening it up to the general public and the community around us. We're a couple of miles just behind the Eden project. We're on a back road behind Penwithick. So you go into Penwithick, behind the back roads, by Innis Fisheries, I think it is. We're just behind there. There's a number of fields along there, and we have an area where we've got a junior football pitch, a main football pitch, and as I say, we're increasing to have another football pitch there.
Incredible. I also saw, I think that you've got like a fundraising campaign online as well. Is that right? That's
right. We got a GoFundMe, which is basically because the building was a second-hand building that we managed to get from a company. It was sort of tending to fall apart in some places, so we need to make it weather tight. So we're going to put a cladding around it, and basically the GoFundMe was to raise the money for the cladding. It's going to cost us around about £2,500 to get it completely cladded, and that makes it completely waterproof, but also smartens it up as well. So it's a green colour at the moment. There's panels that are falling off where it has been hit by the weather. So we need to tidy it up and make sure that we make it weather tight for going forward. Like, you know, otherwise all this hard work has basically been for nothing. Come and have a chat. Get to know us, get involved. We don't mind whether you spend an hour with us or a week with us. You know, we've got a variety of jobs that are going on. We've got a number of projects that we're doing. If you want to get involved financially, that's fine. You know, we're always looking for help that way. So the teams are always looking for sponsors. So they're putting something into the club, so we're looking to put something back into the community.
NEWSWAVE.
Thank you so much to Andy Jackson of Biscovey FC there. We'll check in with Andy a little closer to the events he mentioned to hear a little bit more about how their plans are progressing and what support they might still need. Now, Kirsty Mitchell took over as manager of Lostwithiel Community Centre 5 years ago, inheriting a now 42-year-old building in need of major repairs. Her dedication, hard work and support from volunteers has helped completely revitalise the centre, with one of their major projects being the transformation of a former squash court into a state-of-the-art dance studio. Kirsty joined us again on Chaos Radio to share the journey of turning the community centre into a vital hub for Lostwithiel and surrounding areas, hosting everything from dance and fitness classes to support groups.
NEWSWAVE.
Yeah, I'm Kirsty Mitchell. I'm the manager of Lostwithiel Community Centre. Took over 5 years ago now, and it is a 42-year-old building now. And when I come aboard, it needed TLC. It needed some love. It needed a lot of things doing to it. Needs a new roof. I've built it up, and with a lot of help, a lot of volunteers, a lot of great teachers. So it's just not me, and a good board of trustees now. And we've got it. We're going through each room and we're trying to get grants. If I need anything, I've got to find the money for it, from a pencil to a room. So we've put in for lots of sort of different grants to try and upgrade and do different. I mean, in the most recent one, I spent my whole Christmas for 2 weeks in the centre with my husband, painting the reception area and putting new flooring, because it had 40-year-old flooring. And we picked it up and it just fell to dust. So that'll tell you. Anyway, that was my Christmas. But we put in for lots of grants. One of our projects was going to be the dance studio, or ex-squash court, that is looking dreadful. And we have at least 300 children plus that use that room for dance, every form of dance you could imagine, and adult ballet as well. So we have adults use it. I asked one of the trustees, so she'd like the project of trying to get some money to do this with the Arts Council. And then within that time, I sort of had a little strop and decided to actually get hold of Prince William. And
As you do.
And he very kindly gave us some money towards it. And that's how we've actually got the third time of trying to get the Arts Council. So we've got now the money, and had the builders in yesterday to just look at things and confirm things. So now we can go and have a beautiful new dance studio and have exams there. We are actually now an exam centre for Cornwall. So it's a big deal. And I'm not very good at shouting my praises and the teachers' praises, but it's amazing. And now hopefully other teachers and other students will come on board and visit it, even if it's just for exams. They will have a beautiful room to do it in.
That is incredible. And it's so nice to hear a year on from sort of the emergency meetings. We didn't want this to close, did we? It looks like the community have really come together in support of you, but you've driven all of that. So congratulations. What does it mean to you, first of all? What does this represent to you? And then if you could, after that as well, tell me a little bit about what it might represent to the community as well, and how many people you might be impacting.
Well, for me, I'm not very good at praise at all. So for me, it's another room done, which is fantastic. Hopefully more business, which is fantastic. I feel very proud of everybody getting this dance studio together. For the community, oh my goodness, we're going to do a huge launch of it when it's finished, and it's all going to be hidden so nobody's going to see it. But it's huge. It's an impact that these children and these adults should have. And, instead of dancing in a, manky ex-squash court that's seen better days, now they will have the beautiful room that, even Darcy Bussell will be proud of. So... yeah, for the community, it's a big thing. So, and they're all behind me, which is great. So whatever we're doing at the community centre, they're 100% behind me. So they've come on the journey with me, to be honest, my whole sort of 5 years. They've got on board and now can see what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, it means a lot.
Oh, well done. What's the story now? What happens now? You've had the builders in. You're planning this launch event. Are you all sort of got your hard hats and your PPE, whatever it might be, ready to go?
Yeah, we start because of different commitments on the 12th. I think it's the 12th of May through builders' commitments. It's like anything, trying to get a builder. So we've put that in motion. My electrician's in motion, and we got volunteers who are going to help us paint the room. So yes, it's all in motion now, and we've got an end day and an open day, and I'm actually going to invite Prince William and Princess Catherine and the children down. So you never know, I will absolutely freak out if they do, but I'm really hoping that they'll either send somebody or pop down, which would be lovely.
Yeah, wouldn't that just be incredible? This is just an incredible, I'm awestruck at the work that you've put in, and it's great to see the rewards you're getting for that now. This is just one tiny service really offered by the community centre, because I remember going through with you how much would have been lost if the centre had closed. So like we said, 12 months on, all of that is still sort of going and thriving as well. Are you seeing sort of more groups pop up and more people visit and things like that as well?
Yes, definitely. Yes, it's growing. To the point, when you sort of like panic and you've created a monster. That's how I'm feeling at times, but it's wonderful. We've got the post office and banking in-house, so that's twice a week. So the community centre is a hub of Lostwithiel, and it's a huge asset. And if it was ever lost, it'd be devastating, absolutely devastating, because there's so much good. With all our classes, we have the doctors on board with us, we have the nurses on board with us, we have now Parkinson's support group, cancer support group. So it means a lot, just not to me, but for the community in itself, that we're hoping to do a lot of good. And like I say, if I see anything that I think, oh, that'd be good, I'm bit awful, because I'll literally contact anybody to go, would you like to have a class here?
Pickleball being the prime example.
Oh my gosh, hasn't that grown? We are literally nearly setting up a third lot, because after you had a go, literally we've gone to a Tuesday now. We've got so many playing. And there's no excuse not to play, because we've literally got an 83-year-old that plays weekly with us on a Thursday. And like I say, we put on Tuesdays now, and I've even got space for a Wednesday. And that's just huge. That's grown from 6 people, and I think it's nearly up to 30. It's amazing.
Wow. So that just goes to show an 83-year-old who's running about the pickleball courts, having a great time, but also you're going to have, young dancers sort of learning their trade and sort of, putting on their little ballet shoes, whatever it might be. You're appealing to so many different people, aren't you?
Yeah, totally. And like I say, we've got Pilates and lots of exercise classes for literally people up to their 90s that take part in the gentle exercise. So literally you've got from tap dancing to ballet to Pilates to yoga, and then you've got all the support groups in the post office. And another really popular newish one is the remote control cars, so that'll be up your street. Literally a group of about 30 guys arrive on a Friday, set this course up in the hall, and it's huge, and they're on staging with their remote control cars, and it is awesome. The reading room is now a pit, so they put all their chairs in a row and then dive off and then sit in the pits, mend their car, and there's a little shop that they've set up in the reception that if a spring goes or anything, they can go and buy a new spring.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's really funny. It's really good. And we keep the cafe open till about 7 o'clock. So if anybody wants, because we've got ballet on late, So the ballet classes and the men can have meals and that. So that's growing as well. So that's good.
Brilliant. It all sounds fantastic. Where can people find out more information and see this schedule? Because there is something for everybody, isn't there?
I know. Well, soon we are going digital on the website, which is Lostwithiel Community Centre .org.uk, and people in a minute can book their own time slots out. So that's quite exciting. That's the newest thing that we're setting up. So that's going to go live the 1st of April. So I'm setting up as we go, which has taken me about 3 months because of the classes and the times. You imagine putting all that in. So that's exciting. That it just feels like we've got another step forward. It's another sort of good step forward that people hopefully can book up. I can still book up if people want to ring me. That's not a problem. So yes, they can find me on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere.
And it's great to have your inspiration and your sort of drive behind it, because it was quite close to sort of being the final chapter, wasn't it? So now look at yourself. Yeah. So absolutely well done. I know you won't rest on this. What's next?
Roof.
Of course.
Yes, that's the biggie. That's the big one. We've put it in. We've got the grant in, and that's for the whole roof, the windows and disabled doors. So I'm praying with everything I've got, touching every bit of wood I can, that I'm literally touching everything. Got everything's crossed as well. Oh. And so is the community, to be fair, because we've been very transparent with it. And oh my God, we are crossing our fingers, really, because that's 2.5 years work of this grant. So it's a big one, and it was a big job. And I will have a pat on the back and a bottle of champagne ready if we ever get it. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm just like taking it, trying not to freak out. So that's the next one. And then if we don't get that, then we've got to think of something else or reapply again and again, like we did the Arts Council. But I'm not giving up until I get that roof. And I've been told I can't retire at all. And I've said I will, but I will get the roof on first and set it up for the next 40 years. That's my aim as a manager and as my job. That's what I'd like to do, is set this place up that somebody younger can take over, and I've done my job. So cross fingers.
You'll get there, Kirsty. You'll get there. You deserve it. I know. Yeah, I know. You just need to get on the phone to them and just talk to them, because they'll be absolutely amazed by your passion and things like this. Hopefully it all comes through on the first try. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? Because you've had to fight for everything, haven't you? So yeah. Wouldn't that be so nice?
Literally.
Is there anything else you wanted to add or to celebrate or talk about or raise awareness of why you've got the platform to do so? Because we have covered so much ground.
Not really. Literally, that's the story of us. But literally, if anybody wants to come over, and your invite I've already given you for the 26th, Saturday, the 26th of July, and let's hope Prince William could come down, which would be amazing. But we're going to invite a lot of people, a lot of the mayor, obviously, and a lot of other people, and have an open day of the centre so they can see what we're doing, look at our beautiful dance studio, which I'm terribly excited about, and also see some performances that the little ones, and like I say, we got baby ballet from like 18 months. Wow. So it's really cute when you've got these babies in tutus. So we'll have performances from all the children that will use this area, so it'll be amazing.
That's amazing.
So something to look forward to.
Yes, indeed. Yes, mark your cards for that one.
NEWSWAVE.
So nice to hear from Kirsty, isn't it? Congratulations to all of you putting so much time and effort into the centre, and for all of the excellent opportunities you're offering to the community. Right, I'm Tom Howe, and you're listening to NEWSWAVE on Chaos Radio. Time now for the final stop on our NEWSWAVE tour this week, and to Julie Sykes, an award-winning author of over 120 children's books, including the popular Unicorn Academy series, which has since been adapted into a Netflix show. Julie also helps organise the Austell Festival of Children's Literature, which aims to make reading accessible to every child. This year's festival will feature 2 days of events, a school day on Friday and a public day on Saturday, with affordable tickets and opportunities to meet different authors. She joined Chaos Radio's Mia Howlett to explain more.
NEWSWAVE.
So it's very expensive to put on a festival. Obviously, we're very keen that we pay for authors and illustrators' time, because although they love to reach out and meet their readers, it involves taking time out of their working day or their weekend as well. So we're very keen that everybody's paid a fair amount for that. And also there's other things like equipment that we need, lightings, audio, all sorts of expenses on the day. So it is very expensive. But rather than put that expense back on the festival goers, our mission as an organisation is to make reading accessible for every child. Reading is so important, and it gives children the very, very best start in life. And, down here in Cornwall, we often get forgotten about because we are quite far to get to. And the idea is that we make authors and illustrators available to children so that they can come in, see authors and illustrators, get excited about books, and hopefully develop a love of reading, not just for them, but their whole family. And that will give them a huge boost in their start, so that they can go on and have good, happy lives, and successful lives too.
Yeah, the ethos behind the festival is just brilliant. And I just love the work that you've been doing. And I'm wondering, with this festival coming up, can you tell us a bit about what we can expect from it this year?
Okay, so we've scaled back a little bit this year. We're going to do 2 days only. We're making the tickets again. We're going to keep them to £1 a person to make it affordable, because that, as I said, that's really important to us, that we can get people to come in. It's not going to cost them a fortune. The first day will be on the Friday, and that's going to be a schools day. So the school, we're sending out to schools now, asking them to look at the events that we're going to put on, and then they will bring classes to various school locations to meet authors and illustrators and have that experience. And then on Saturday, that'll be held in the town centre, and that's going to be the public day, where again, quite shortly we'll be putting up who we've got coming on our website, and people will be able to book sessions. And we do recommend booking, because we did sell out completely last year. And I think also, again, this year, if you want to get books and get them signed by the author or illustrator, I think there'll be an opportunity to do that. And if you pre-order, you'll get them cheaper than if you buy them on the day.
Oh, amazing. So many opportunities to get involved this year. I'm looking forward, and I'll keep my eyes peeled to see who will be joining you for the festival. And as I mentioned earlier, you're part of the team that help organise the festival. How have you enjoyed sort of taking on that role and being part of the event?
It's been such good fun, apart from the fact that I've made lots of new friends as well, working as a team. I think we all have the same mission. We all absolutely love books, and we're all really, really keen to get books into the hands of young people. And, to see the joy on the children's faces, as you said, last year, the festival was incredible, just talking to the children and their parents and seeing what they got out of it. It's worth it. It is hard work. It does involve a time commitment, but it's so worth it to see the enjoyment that everybody gets from it.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I want to touch upon that there, because I can hear in your voice and I can see you now that you're so passionate about what you do. And I recently, myself personally, have kind of relearned that joy in reading. I think sometimes when you have to read for education or a degree or something like that, sometimes the kind of joy and the reason why you first started reading kind of gets stripped away from it. So I'm wondering, for you personally, where did your joy for reading and writing first come from?
Definitely from my mum, because my mum was a very big reader and she read to me right from when I was a tiny, tiny baby. In fact, she said that I had quite a good memory and I would want the same books over and over again. And she said that I could, even before I was properly, I was still in a pram and I could shout out parts of books, even though I couldn't walk, which used to amuse people. So the joy of reading had come from her, definitely. But also I think it's just something that I really enjoyed. People say, why do you like reading? And I say to them, what's your favourite thing? And they might say football. And I'll say, why do you like that? And they'll just go, because I do. And for me, I just do love reading. But it's a form of escapism. And I think it's really nice to have that form of escapism. Books can take you anywhere, places that you can only maybe dream of going to. And it's great to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, have adventures, and then still be in the safety of your home or whatever.
Yeah. And have you enjoyed that, sort of taking that joy and then you sort of being the person that brings the joy to someone else through your books? Because I read somewhere online, you've written, is it over 100 books now? I mean, what an achievement.
Yeah, over 120 now.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's just so surreal. I mean, to be able to, reading is one of my big hobbies, I guess, and to be able to do it as a job is just surreal. And to see, children reading my books, to get lovely messages from them and things, I just feel so privileged. It's such a privilege.
Definitely one of the series of books that you've co-written with your friend and writing partner, Linda Chapman, is The Unicorn Academy. It has captured so many imaginations and admirers along the way. What's that journey been like for you? Because, of course, you've got a whole range in the series of books, but also it's on Netflix now. I mean, how has that been for you?
That's probably been the most surreal part of my career. So Linda and I started writing the books, I think it was back in about 2016, 2017. We wrote 20 books together. The Netflix, initially the books were optioned by a company called Spin Master, who also do the Paw Patrol. And we had to keep that quiet for 5 years. And we weren't even sure, because they'll option something and that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be an end product. It just means that if they can do it, they will. So for 5 years, we were like, will it happen? Won't it happen? And then obviously, as it got towards the end and Netflix became involved and everything, we were pretty certain it would happen. And it was just the most surreal thing. Our publisher had a little watch party for us, so we got to see the very first Unicorn Academy before anyone else, and that was all top secret. We had to kind of be counted into a room and counted out because only certain people were allowed to be there. And now the whole thing has moved on so much. They're doing tie-in books and there's merchandise as well. And I think the first time I went into Truro and saw Unicorn Academy dolls in the toy shop was just, I can't explain to you how weird that feeling was, that, those had been inspired by our books. It's amazing.
Yeah, gosh, wow, how cool. And I speak to quite a lot of music artists, and when they release music, to them it's almost like they've released their baby, almost their whole project, their heart, their soul into the world. Is that the same for you as an author when you're, writing books and co-writing books?
Yes, definitely. It's really hard. It's kind of, in a way, it's almost like sharing your diary with people. Something private that you've written and you don't know what the response is going to be, which is why I'm always very careful. I'll only ever leave good reviews of people's books.
One thing I did want to ask is, I had a book that I read over and over and over as a child. It was Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know that you had a great memory when you were reading your books. Are there any books that stand out in your head that you read over and over?
Yes, I mean, I was a very big Enid Blyton fan, and it's really brilliant to see those books updated for modern day children, because when I read them, obviously times were different and, the stories were great, but obviously some of the content isn't suitable for children today. So it's great to see them out there again. I think my most favourite book that I read the pages of was a book called Carbonell by Barbara Slay. And it was about a witch's cat, and the cat the cat is trying to break free of the witch and is helped by 2 children. So that was a great book. I loved it. Magic in the real world. And that's what I love most, magic in the real world.
I wonder if you have any hopes for this year or any new projects on the horizon.
So I'm also co-writing Mermaid Academy with Linda Chapman. So we've got more books publishing this year. I've also got 2 of my own new series. One is called Perfect Puppies. The first book, Alfie, the cheeky puppy, has just published, and there's Bertie's coming up in June. And one project I'm really, really excited about is Luna Grace, Girl from Outer Space. And it's a story for children who enjoy things like Kitty and Isadora Moon, so slightly younger. And it's about a girl and her family and her moon cat Twizzle, who come to Earth to study the plants and the animals. And she has some special features, like being able to move things with her mind. And she's trying to fit in, but at the same time be herself. So lots of humorous situations she gets into.
Oh,
that comes out probably, I think it's about the end of August.
Oh, amazing. That sounds wonderful. And can I just say, do you love animals? I'm sensing an animal theme.
What gave you that impression? Yes, I do. I got 3 dogs for my sins.
Amazing. Oh, yeah. I love that. So you're bringing magic into the real world and animals. How could it get better? Love the sound of that.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Mayor of St Austell, Julian Young, Andy Jackson of Biscovey FC, Lostwithiel Community Centre manager Kirsty Mitchell, and award-winning children's author Julie Sykes. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. Now remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe, thanks very much for listening. See you next week.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.